Welcome back. Now, this week we'll see more than 2,000 experts and business leaders descend on the Rwandan capital of Kigali for what its organisers claim will be one of the biggest fintech events this year in the world, and certainly the largest in Africa. The Inclusive Fintech Forum is aimed at capitalising on the fintech boom currently underway in the continent, with the sector in Africa growing at around 10% a year. Well, joining me now live from Kigali is Hortense Mudenge, Chief Operating Officer at Rwanda Finance Limited. Hortense, very good to see you this morning. Why is fintech going through such a strong period of growth in Africa?
Yes, good morning, Ian, and pleasure to be with you this morning on the show. We're very, very happy, and we're having an exciting morning here in Rwanda, as we have over 2,500 delegates that have actually convened to discuss the hot topic that is fintech and financial inclusion. And financial technology is actually the fastest growing industry in the financial services sector as a whole. And you rightly pointed out that financial services sector is seeing a 10% annual growth, right? And financial technology is actually the driver behind that. So we're anticipating that this will transform economic development on the continent. And we're excited to be hosting this forum, to be able to convene all the key players, on the market, whether regulators, to discuss, the possibilities of creating more regulations or policies that are conducive to boost fintech development in the continent. And we're also excited to see startups, right, and entrepreneurs here today also joining us in this conversation to be able to see what solutions they can offer us to be able to address the key challenges that we face on the continent, with the percentages of, high level of unbanked population. That's a big opportunity that we think that fintechs are really going to play. And also, one of the key drivers behind why fintech is becoming a boom on the continent is because there's still great need and opportunity to accelerate financial inclusion. And that's really where financial technology plays a key role. And we're excited to be having the conversation and seeing really what key takeaways we can take from this to further that conversation.
You've just put your finger on a really important point there. I mean, mobile money in particular has grown very rapidly in Africa in recent years. Why is it then that so many Africans remain unbanked?
Yes, and it's a great question there, Ian. Absolutely, mobile digital payments have actually scaled through the roof. When you talk about fintech, or really the biggest segment in terms of products that have really taken off has been in mobile services, digital payments primarily, as well as e-wallets. And we're also seeing that it has been, relegated just to some of the urban areas, and there is need to increase expansion and scale into the more rural areas. And I believe the biggest challenge right now, which is even the biggest conversation today that we'll be tackling, is the need for more infrastructure for us to be put in place that will be able to give that access, to the rural population of the unbanked to be able to tap into. The conversation around creating more services, right, that will be able to enable cost effectiveness, whether in terms of internet, for example, to allow people to be able to access these digital services. And so the conversation here really, and that's the important reason why we have policymakers also joining us today, is to discuss, what we're doing as a continent and what we're doing as a region. We have the African Continental Free Trade Area, for example, that is looking at scaling the digital payment system. This is one of the areas that will really allow for that access, increased access to financial services that we are seeking, beyond even what currently the mobile service providers are able to offer. It will be an opportunity now to add in more players to be able to scale that access. And also internally with different jurisdictions, it's a conversation of what more can be done in terms of creating that enabling environment to attract more investment into this infrastructure that can be put together and put towards actually advancing access to financial services.
Hortense, good to talk to you this morning. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you too, Ian. Pleasure to be here.